XRP, is it truly scarce or is the supply too big? Now, so many people are going to click off this video or go straight to the comments. They're going to be like, XRP scarce, 100 billion coins. There's no way it's scarce. Forget these guys. I'm clicking off. Well, hear us out on this particular one because we're going to open your eyes to something you're not even aware of. Consider smash that like if you haven't done so already. We're back with the one and only Jesse of Apex Crypto Consulting NFA. If you're on my platform and you're new, you need to give this brother a follow on his channel. Let's get into the material and why it matters to you. First thing we're going to pull up, it's just one tab. It's going to be a short video. Let's get into it. So this is from another person. You may have never seen him get a shout out. I want to give him a shout out. His name is Ghost at GhostWeb3_X. XRP is more scarce than you think. We're about to be rich as you know what. This video is insane. I know we say insane a lot, right? So shout out to 24 Hours Crypto for the alpha. Great channel. I would agree. Listen to this. You may think you've already seen this. You may think you already know. I can almost guarantee you don't. And if anything, if you do, well, then listen again. Here we go.
If managing your crypto feels like solving a puzzle, it's time to switch to Decent Wallet. It's just a few taps. You can manage, track, and secure your crypto with unmatched ease. And here's the best part. Grab your Decent Wallet at a discounted price by using the referral link below. Don't miss out on making your crypto experience smoother and more secure.
Here we have the market cap of XRP at $5 trillion. We have 40 banks utilizing XRP. The price of XRP is at $48.51 and 99 billion XRP is circulating. So we're being very, very conservative here, okay? If we were to split up the XRP to these 40 banks, each bank would get about 2.5 billion XRP. Wow. Wow, folks, that is absolutely nothing. And keep in mind, whatever that we are holding is also accounted for in this calculation. Do you see how scarce this asset is? When will people wake up? And if we go down to 96 banks, okay, same layout, $5 trillion market cap, 99 billion circulating, each bank would hold on to about 1 billion XRP valued at $48 billion. But it gets even better. Let's go to 150 banks. That's only 660 million XRP per bank that they're going to be holding on to. And let's go over to 300 banks, 330 million XRP that they're going to be holding on to. Do you guys see this?
All right. So, Jesse, before I kick it over to you, shout out to the late, great Will Fix, right? Rest in peace, our brother who's in the kingdom of heaven. He pointed out before that take, for example, ETFs, put that into the equation. Every single ETF that will exist, whether it's a grayscale one or some of these other particular conglomerates, that is locked up XRP. That wasn't really mentioned so much in this video, and that's fine. Shout out to 24 Hours Crypto. But those examples that he gave about these specific banks, think about it. Now, recently, I don't watch some of your material. I do. You mentioned, for example, R3. Now, R3, as you pointed out, got something like what? A billion or 5 billion XRP, something like that?
Yeah, the original deal was 5 billion. Then there was a lawsuit, counter lawsuit. They settled. We don't know what it is exactly. I'm assuming it's still probably 3 to 5 billion would make sense, right? For them. Yeah, I think it's still 3 to 5 billion, but might be wrong on that. But they definitely hold a ton load of XRP. So, yeah.
Well, again, I just want to get some of your thoughts about this. So he breaks down the whole thing of all these different particular banks and so on. So again, people are going to point out, they're like, yeah, 100 billion, XRP coins. But when you look at it from 24 Hours Crypto's perspective, it's like, yeah, you know what? Nobody has really explained it like that. So again, I just want to get your brief gist of it all. how do you feel about that moving forward? And hey, let's combine that also, of course, with the concept of ETF lockup.
Yeah, so I mean, David Schwartz a while back talked. He made a video and he did a proposal for a new global stablecoin, XRP being a new global stablecoin, global stablecoin arrangement, something like that. It was a proposal for XRP to literally back everything that's tokenized.
That I was talking about and what's going on right now. And one of the places where you can see that the most easily, I think, is with stablecoins. The current market cap of stablecoins is around $160 billion, and it's growing so rapidly that that number is, it's going to be obsolete by in months. It's expected to grow to almost $3 trillion by 2028. And this is the next statistic is, I think, the most important one. Remember, I was talking about bleeding over into popular culture. It's great if everybody in the Bitcoin space thinks Bitcoin's great, if everybody in the crypto space thinks cryptocurrency is going to take over, everyone in the DeFi space thinks DeFi is going to be the next big thing. What about people outside the space? 97% of institutional investors believe that tokenization is going to significantly affect asset management. These are people who they're not Bitcoin people, they're not crypto people, they're not blockchain people, they're not DeFi people, they're institutional investors. These are some of the most conservative people in the world, right? And they think that the technologies that we're building are going to revolutionize their industry. That is that bleed over into popular culture. The market value of tokenized U.S. securities alone is $1.5 billion. This is a new space. So that is that number is probably different by the time I get off this stage. And of course, the growth of tokenized assets, $16 trillion forecast by 2030. I think that's probably going to be conservative. It just makes sense to get into these spaces. If DeFi spaces and tokenized spaces are where the investors are going to be or where the money is going to be, that's got to be where the assets are, right? The assets are going to chase the money.
So you could launch any type of asset on the XRP ledger in the form of a token, and it would be backed by XRP. It would be 100% redeemable for XRP at any time. So XRP was backing that asset. You're guaranteed that you can always redeem your asset for XRP at any time. So imagine that. You'd be tokenizing everything. Stocks, bonds, derivatives, everything. Because the whole world's being tokenized. That's what people need to understand here. And 100 billion XRP, that's what's in circulation. But you have to understand, you have the retail investors. A lot of people are not holding. Like you said, the banks are going to hold it. Even though you have 100 billion XRP that exists, not 100 billion XRP are available on exchanges to trade. 100 billion XRPs is nothing for an internet. That's what people need to understand, because they're building the internet of value. It's not a payment. It's not just a payment platform or a huge payment gateway or a huge network. It's more than that. It's an internet, and people need to study what the value of the internet we have today. Like how much volume would flow through this internet protocol, because the interledger protocol and XRP ledger are an internet. It's the internet of value. And like I said before, the internet of information we have today, we can't even measure its value, not even for one country. There's so much data going through the internet protocol today. Like the amount of videos we upload in one day is insane. I always say that word, guys. I'm so sorry. Insane. Everything's insane. But it is insane. I mean, I don't know how else to say it, right? But the amount of data we produce in just 2 minutes right now with all the videos we're creating is trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of more data than we used to produce just maybe 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And all this data needs to flow through this internet protocol, the TCP protocol. And so when you realize that they're going to tokenize everything, stocks, bonds, derivative, arts, everything, your identity, everything's going to be tokenized. Everything's being tokenized. And so when you put that all on the XRP ledger, 100 billion XRPs is a joke. It's not a lot when you think about it supporting a new internet. So that's why just for, let's say, I don't know, take the United States. If you were to measure the value of the internet for the US, I'm not talking about people paying $50 for the internet package. I'm talking like its utility value, the advantages that it brings to society. If you try to measure the amount of data that flows through the internet, or you try to measure its utility value based on its usability, advantages it brings to society, we can't measure its value. Like I said, the fact that you can study anything over the internet for free. The fact that you can talk to anybody on camera or video for free. The fact that you can start any business on the internet. Like they can't even measure the value of the internet. So for example, if you just look at the US and you try to measure its utility value in the US, the utility value of the internet just for one country might be like 50 trillion, 100 trillion, maybe probably more like 500 trillion, to be honest with you. Like nobody can measure the value of the internet. If somebody can, please let me know. Because based on my study, my research, nobody's able to measure the value of the internet from a utility standpoint. So to say like, oh, XRP can't be worth 5 trillion. Are you kidding? Study what the value of the internet is. I would really encourage you. You will not find the amount. If you do, let me know, because you're the first one to figure it out if you're able to measure the value of the internet. So that's my opinion there. It's not financial advice. Like I always say, I'm not a financial advisor. You do your research. We don't know. I think the price is being suppressed right now like crazy. I think a lot of volume's happening on the private networks. That's why we're not seeing the price where it should be. So I don't know how long it will stay like that. Don't know if I'm right either, but might be wrong. But I don't know how long the price will stay low like this. Will we see the prices that we're supposed to see in 3 months, 6 months, a year? Maybe ISO, they flip a switch. I don't know. But I'm just saying, all I know is that the value of the internet of value is way more than people can even imagine in general, because it's an internet. It's an internet. It's not a platform. It's not a business. It's not a stock. It's an internet. That's the thing. That's the main key takeaway I want people to understand here. Because most people talk about XRP, but they never talk about, or they say it's the internet of value, but they never talk about it being an internet and what is the value of the internet. Nobody ever talks about that.
Well, they should. The thing that gets brought up a lot, Jesse, is the whole concept of tokenizing real world assets. Like everybody talks about that. You're talking about it from a whole different spectrum of tokenizing the entire internet and having that value being represented on chain. In this case, the XRPL, which is pretty big in itself.
It's the internet. So what people have to understand, like when you, like some people say like these astronomical value, like 10,000, 5,000, people even saying 20,000. And most people say like, it's crazy. I understand. Like sounds absolutely ridiculous. But when they say that, you got to think it's an internet. And most people spit out those numbers, not based on them realizing that it's actually an internet of value. I think they spit out those numbers just based on the actual volume that's going to go through it. 20 trillion, 30, because it's 20-30 trillion per day today that's moving internationally per day. It's about 20 trillion per day. But once you start tokenizing everything, it's not going to be 20 trillion per day. It's going to be way more than that. But again, I don't know what it's going to be worth. Nobody knows. And like I said, they could control and manipulate the price maybe for a very long time. I don't know. I don't think so. I really don't. But the people that are saying, these numbers that seem to be ridiculous, a lot of times they're not even thinking about the concept of it being an internet. They're not even thinking about the fact that XRP is capturing the value of an internet protocol. So for example, today, so the people that say that XRP doesn't have potential to go much high, right? What I would like to ask them is the internet we have today, the TCP protocol that moves gazillions and gazillions of data bytes per second, probably, because like I said, the amount of videos we're uploading today, it's a huge amount of data. This is all flowing through the protocols, right? If I send you a video, post a video, it's going through the TCP protocol, if I understand correctly, but it's all flowing through this internet protocol. If the internet we have today had a token which had 100 billion in circulation, and every time something is going, some data or either a picture, an email, or a video was moving through the internet, if it had to use that token every time, and there was a limited supply of 100 billion, how much would that token be worth today? So that's why we don't know. Like, to say numbers that sound outrageous is not really outrageous. But I'm not. I'm just an average guy. I'm not this guy. I'm not this guy on the wall here. I'm not sure, right? But just sharing you my thoughts.
You're getting pretty deep here, which is cool. I guess we'll talk more about this. Let's talk more about it. So some people are going to throw this probably into the comments. That's fine. They're going to say, Jesse, Well, right now as we speak, I don't have to use a token like you're talking about. I'm already using the internet for all my goods and services and whatnot without the use of obviously XRP. So, are you trying to tell me? I mean, this is rhetorical for me. I already know the answer. But anyway, are you trying to tell me, Jesse, that moving forward, apparently with regulations or mandates and so on, that changes?
No, it's like the internet we have today is not going to be based on tokens, but you're not like the internet we have today is not going to rely on tokens necessarily. But the new internets that are being built, like the Internet of Value, which is XRP, and the Internet of Trust, which is Quant QNT token, Quant Overledger, those two new internets have to rely on the token for their functionalities. For like the volume has to go through the token. And when people say like, "Oh, XRP doesn't need to be used," I see this a lot sometimes in the comments, like, "Oh, XRP doesn't need to be used. Like, we can just settle through CBDCs or USDC. You don't need XRP." No, that's incorrect. You need XRP for liquidity. Anytime you're going from one asset to another, XRP is that bridge. And same for Quant, the Internet of Trust. You can't do anything without the. So the next internets that are being built, because blockchain exists, they're foundationally built on like these tokens were hard coded. Like the how would I say, the platform or the network was hard coded that you need to use the token. So they are being built in.
Well, I've used this analogy before, and then we're going to wrap this up. And that is, yes, XRP is a world bridge currency. But if you ever been on a bridge, some of you guys never been on many bridges in your whole life. I'm originally from Portland, Oregon. I was where I was born and raised. Literally, some people refer to that as the Bridge City. It's kind of a nickname. Well, some of those bridges, right? You have to pay a toll. Not necessarily in Portland, but other places in, for example, the United States and abroad, right? You have to pay a toll at the toll bridge. Well, look at it this way. That toll moving forward would be the actual token. Yeah, the XRP, the coin, and so on. So the way I look at it is there's bridges, there's bridge assets, and I guess I've also used this analogy before with Quant. We talk about API gateways. Well, little slivers and fractions everywhere for those APIs through Quant's Overledger and so on. So I think you guys get the gist. I think you do. Simply do us a solid if you listen to the entire outline and type in this key two words into the comments, and that is tokenized internet. And we'll know that you listened to the entire outline. On behalf of myself and the brother Jesse from Apex Crypto Consulting NFA, give him a follow. And we have,
Thank you, guys. Yes.
Know why you hold it. The research does trump FUD 110%. We'll see you guys on the next one.
Thank you, guys. See you.